Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole. Welcome to Yahoo Sports, and my guest right now is a 2012 Olympian, a world champion, one of my favorite guests to have on. I've had him on a number of times. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. I think on my pound for pound list, I think I got him number 4. He's way up there. I know that. The welterweight champ of the world, Errol Spence Jr. How are you, Errol?
Doing good.
Attaway. So your first fight in quite a long time, you're fighting Danny Garcia and the headliner of a pay-per-view event on December 5th. That's going to be a really big fight. What do you think you lose by being away? You had the auto accident a little over a year ago now. You've been away since then. What do you think you've lost in that time off? Let's start there.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see because I feel great, especially a week away from the fight. I feel really good, feel really prepared and strong mentally and physically. So, right now I don't think I lost anything. So, that's still to be seen. So we'll see. I guess December 5th.
Was there any concern when you first had the accident, like, am I going to be able to fight again? And even after you got out of the hospital, I mean, how long was it before you were able to say, okay, I know I'm going to be able to resume my career?
A little bit. Of course, that runs through your mind. Are you gonna be able to fight again? I really, didn't tell anybody that was running through my mind, but it was. But I probably started training in probably like 3 months after my accident, like just hitting the mid light and hitting the bag light and just basically working my muscle and thing like that. And just took my time and just gradually, and then I started sparring probably I want to say September. September I started sparring. So for me it was just taking it slow.
So, I mean, so September was like 11 months after your accident. So you really, was that on the advice of doctors, or was it just you going by how you felt?
It was me going about how I felt, and just I knew I needed to take some time off, so it was basically taking some time off and just letting myself get back 100%.
We were all praying for you, of course, when the accident happened. I mean, it looked horrific when we saw that shocking video. I was actually in a plane crash that went down and burned, and so I kind of know sort of what that's like to come so close. But did being in that accident change you in any ways? Like, are you a different person now than you were before because of having been through that and kind of your life being spared?
I think it changed my perspective like on life and being as young as I am, you think you're invincible, I think you're gonna live forever. So that too, and just especially spending quality time with your loved ones and things like that. So I think it changed my overall perspective. Just knowing that we're not gonna be here forever, and get the most out of life as you can.
You're coming back and you're not taking an easy fight. I mean, I have always been a big fan of Danny Garcia's talent, and for some reason, and I don't, I know you shouldn't pay attention a lot of times to what people on the internet say, but he seems like a guy that gets dogged a lot, right? And yet, I think he's a hard puncher. He's a pretty good boxer. Has a lot of overall skills in there. So I'll start here. Any Did you have any trepidation about taking a fight of the caliber of Danny Garcia for your first one, as opposed to getting a tune-up where you had a chance to kind of just get the kinks out before you faced a really elite opponent?
For me, I didn't want to tune up. I didn't want somebody that I knew I was gonna beat or somebody I could knock out first round. That basically still leave a lot of questions unanswered and things like that for the public and everything else. So I wanted a great opponent, a guy that can really fight, and a guy that's gonna push me and make me work harder in training camp and things like that. And basically that was Danny Garcia, because I was already supposed to fight him, post accident,
Right.
before the accident. So I just continue, with my obligation.
So, he has something that, I don't know that you've faced before, and that's that's his father, Angel, who, is good at getting into fighters' heads. He's a trash talker. He's a little bit, out there. I don't know that he's really gone after you too much yet, but, do you worry about that? And how do you keep yourself, focused on the job at hand and not, kind of responding to the things that Angel might say between now and fight night?
For me, I mean, I really, I really don't care. I find it as, it's funny. So, for me, it's not, I've been watching how Angel and how he reacts and, how crazy he can get and things like that. So, I mean, for me, it's always been funny. So, I mean, it couldn't get in my head.
Have you ever had a fighter or, either in your amateur career or your pro career where it became a mental thing, like, you're better than this guy, but, they got you so mad that you wanted to kill him because of what they had said?
Uh, nah, nah, never, nah,
Never. You're too chill,
nah,
huh?
yeah.
So what is the key to this fight for you? I mean, I think Garcia is you come off a nice win over Sean Porter. You knock him down late in that fight. It was a tremendous fight. That was an exciting moment in the fight when you put him on the floor. Now you fight Garcia, a different style of fighter. So what is how does the strategy change for you, and what do you think is going to be the key for you to establish to win the fight?
For me, it just continue being explosive. Listen to my coach. Make adjustments. I feel like that's important throughout any fight is adjustments and things like that. So just making adjustments and staying focused and making sure I'm sharp and on point and I'm strong.
So you talk about making adjustments. Let's go to the Porter fight. Was there any adjustment that you made? I mean, because I think scoring for some people was all over the map. Who was winning that fight? You know, did you make any adjustments? Feeling okay late in the fight, I need to do something, and that led to the knockdown.
Um, no, not really. I mean, coming in that fight, I already had my mind made up. I was gonna fight his fight and just come forward and it was just gonna be what it was gonna be. It was gonna be a dog fight. So I mean, I probably made little adjustments, but I mean, for that fight, it was really just, it was just a dog fight. I really didn't have. Well, my coach had a strategy coming in, but I didn't have. It was just gonna fight.
So you kind of did what Sugar Ray Leonard did in 1980 against Roberto Duran, because that was his first loss, and I think you're probably obviously that happened before you were born, but I don't know if you've read about it, where Leonard decided, I want to show how tough I am, and he got in the pocket and stood there with Roberto Duran. He fought a great fight, but he ended up losing. Didn't
Yeah.
you feel like you had that risk there, because that's Sean Porter's kind of that brawling type fight? Was that a concern at all?
Yeah, it was a little bit of risk there, but I know that I could fight in the inside as good as anybody. So I mean, it was just for me, it was about picking my shots, and just basically just fighting and outwilling somebody.
What is it going to be like for you coming back? You're fighting at home, but you're going to have, a small crowd there, right? I guess you did it in amateurs a lot, right? But as a pro, when the stakes are big and you have those crowds and they're chanting your name and all that type of stuff, is it going to be a difficult adjustment to get used to that, and maybe at periods in the fight when you're tired and you don't have that crowd to lift you and propel you, if you think it'll be unusual?
I don't think it'll be unusual. I think I mean, it's not going to be a lot of people there considering how big the Cowboy Stadium is, but
Right.
I mean, 25,000 fans is still a lot. Considering a boxing match. So I mean, for me, I'll be more electrified just trying to get the win. So my whole thing is not letting another person beat me. So, regardless of, fans, no fans, or fans cheering, I'm glad we got fans there and things like that. But, I'm motivated by something deeper.
You know, I want to ask you, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Terrence Crawford. What was your thought? You know, you fought Kell Brook. You know how tough Kell Brook is. What was your thought on his performance against Brook? Crawford, some people think is the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Obviously, you and he are rivals and are probably on a collision course at some point. Hope sooner rather than later. What was your thought on his win over Brook?
I had no thoughts on it. I mean, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, surely you watched it, Errol. I know you watched it. You're a boxing fan.
Yeah, I watched it, but I didn't have any thoughts on it. I mean,
do you feel like he's in your future? Is he a guy that you feel like you know, has to happen?
I don't know. I mean, is it gonna happen if I don't get past Danny Garcia?
Right. But
Yeah.
you know, he kind of has that laid back. He said, oh, well, let me ask you this. He was asked after the fight by Lance Pugmire of The Athletic. We were in his locker room. Don't you have to do something to promote, to try to, you know, call out Errol Spence so people know you want it? And he said, no. He said, I don't need to call him out. That's y'all's job, meaning us in the media. Is that your attitude too? Do you feel like you don't need to call him out? Or do you feel like, you know, there's so many good welterweights, you need to call each other out?
Man, tell you the truth, I really just don't care. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I got Danny Garcia in front of me, so if I don't get past him, I mean, what top welterweight or tied up Manny Pacquiao, anybody else gonna fight me? So
Right.
at the end of the day, when I get past Danny Garcia, then somebody can ask me about somebody else. But right now, you know, the total focus on Danny Garcia.
So I'll just wrap up a couple more questions. You know, going down this path. When do you get back? Like, you know, I know you have to see how you feel and everything, but like, you know, is 2021 a year where you know, you want to make up a little bit for lost time and try to be a little more active, given, you know, you lost, you know, roughly a year due to the accident?
Definitely. You know, I want to come back, you know, in the summertime. So, you know, just gotta, you know, make this fight go great and then, you know, come back in the summertime. But, you know, fighting somebody like Danny Garcia, you know, who's still tough, you know, could have easily been a world champion at 147 twice, you know, with, you know, close losses to Thurman and Porter. So, I mean, you know, I'm making a splash at December 5th, then make another splash in the summertime.
You know, our mutual friend Tim Smith from the PBC. You know, I don't know if you remember this when Pacquiao was fighting Thurman. You know, I kind of used him as my producer for our preview show when we were doing Pacquiao Thurman preview show, and I got you on. And I remember saying I just interviewed Manny, and you walked on, and I said, you know, looking at you next to Manny was like, you know, a light heavyweight against a lightweight. You know, it's guys, but you are a big welterweight, and so that begs the question: when you fight in the summer, are you confident you're still going to be a welterweight, or is there a possibility that you're going to move up and be in that super welterweight, junior middleweight range?
Well, I think it's harder to lose weight in the wintertime than the summer. So, I mean, it's 110 degrees in Texas in the summer and humid. So, I mean, I find it way more easier to lose weight in the summertime than in the wintertime where it's cold and it's raining today. So, I mean, I find it a lot easier in the summer to lose weight, but you know, I definitely, you know, make the weight.
Welterweight's still good. Okay, let's wrap it up on this. If I could, I know you don't like to make predictions, but what kind of fight is it going to be? Is it going to be, you know, do you think it's going to be a similar fight to what Porter was, or do you think it'll be something like Thurman and Garcia had? You know, that was a really good fight. What do you see the style of the fight being?
I see it as being, you know, a battle of minds and just a dogfight. You know, I'm never in boring fights. Danny Garcia is never in boring fights. So I just see our styles clashing. It's gonna be, you know, a fight that everybody don't want to miss. You know, it's gonna just be a great all action fight.
Well, I can't wait to see that fight on December 5th on pay-per-view in Dallas. I guess Arlington, right? So I should give Arlington a little love here. In Arlington, Texas, Errol Spence Jr. will defend his welterweight title against Danny Garcia. You can catch that on pay-per-view. Errol, thank you so much. Best of luck to you. See you soon.
Thank you.